Hello and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be decluttering my eye brushes. I've been meaning to do this for a long time. I wasn't really planning on filming it, but once again, Annette's Makeup Corner inspired me to film it. She just recently did a face and eye brush declutter, and I definitely thought it was interesting to hear her thoughts on some of the brushes she had, and I think it was interesting for the rest of her subscribers as well. So I'm only going to be decluttering my eye brushes because I don't have that many face brushes. I'm not really too picky with my face brushes like I am with my eye brushes. So I will be eventually filming a favorites brush video, so I don't want to be giving away too much in this video. So I'm going to keep it short and sweet in this video. But there will definitely be some major spoiler alerts. So let's just hop right into it. Right here are all my blending brushes. Here I have eyeliner, eyebrow, and spoolie kind of brushes, and then here are flat brushes for laying down eyeshadow on the lid, and then in this corner I have some brushes that are for like the lower lash line. And I put down a cloth on my desk just so that it wouldn't be so loud when I'm moving the brushes around. So these are mostly the eyebrow eyeliner brushes, but there are some other miscellaneous brushes that I just don't really know where to place because they might be kind of like multi-purpose brushes. So the first thing you might notice is these sponge applicators, and these are obviously not brushes, but these are really great for Colourpop Super Shock shadows and some other shimmery formulas that might be a little bit harder to pick up with a brush. And I personally really don't like using my finger, so I like using these instead. So these are definitely staying. Next, I have this random brush. I think it came with the Lit Cosmetics glitters from way back like 4 years ago when I actually really liked using glitter on my eyes. I think this is supposed to like break apart the glitter or something, or be an applicator. I'm not really sure. To this day I haven't used it, so I'm gonna get rid of this. Then I have this little mini Danessa Merrick's angled brush, and this came with one of her cushion eyeliners. I clearly haven't used this, but I like that it's really small, so I'm going to keep it and just try it out. So next I have these 3 silicone applicators. This one's from Huda Beauty, and this is from Sephora brand. This one also has a sponge applicator. I like this silicone applicator, but I just wish it was larger and more rounded. Kind of bummed out why it's so skinny. I feel like I have to keep going back and forth to like cover the surface area with this, but other than that I love it. And then I really love these as well. I don't understand why this one is so rounded. It's really too large for anything, so I'm gonna get rid of this one, and then I'm gonna keep this one because this is like really a perfect size and shape. And I forget to mention, I like to use these for loose pigments. So then I have these 2 eyelash brushes. So this is kind of for when your mascara is clumping on your lashes, you can brush it out. So I don't know why I have 2. I think this one came in a set, but I definitely don't need both of these, and I think I prefer the bristles on this side, on this furless brush, so I'm gonna keep that one and get rid of the Sephora. I definitely don't need 2 of those. Next are all these angled brushes for eyebrows. I have a Sigma, Morphe, 2 Anastasia Beverly Hills, Morphe and Jeffree Star, and then Morphe, this was like a Pride collection with the palette, and I obviously haven't even used this one. I definitely don't need this many. This Morphe brush I've had for a while, and I love using this for applying powder eyebrow products, so I'm gonna keep this one. This one's not going anywhere. Then I do like the Sigma one because it's just a little bit thinner than the Morphe, so I'm gonna keep that one as well. I think I'm gonna get rid of these 2, both by Morphe. I just feel like I don't need them, and the size isn't really unique enough for me to want to keep, but I will be keeping both of these ABH brushes / spoolies. I don't really like to use the ABH dip brow, but sometimes when I do feel like being dangerous and reaching for it, I like using these brushes for those hairline strokes. Then I have these 2 brushes, both from Sigma. This is Detail Lip, which to me doesn't look like a lip brush, not at least from I'm used to, and a smudge brush. I think these should actually go into the other category with the lower lash line. I honestly think I only have used this smudge brush maybe like 2 times since I've had it. I'm gonna put it in with the rest of the lower lash line brushes and see if I reach for them, so I'm gonna keep them for now. Then I have this Furless Pro 2M brush. I'm not really sure what this is for. It looks like it would be better for the lid. I don't remember the last time I used this, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. And lastly, we're left with all the eyeliner brushes. Definitely keeping the Sigma, which I have twice. And I talked about this brush in my Sigma brush video that was all about their new blending brush set and some other of my Sigma favorite brushes. So I'm definitely keeping these. These are so good for gel eyeliner. So now we have these really thin, pointy detail brushes. I'm definitely keeping this Zoeva Beauty. This is actually a pink brush, and I'm gonna keep that one. And then the Smith, I think I'm gonna get rid of this one. I don't ever use it. And it's really choppy at the top. It's not really like fine. And it's also not very soft, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. Lastly, I have this Morphe and Jeffree Star eyeliner brush, and I hate this, like how bulky it is up here and then this thin sticking out. It's okay, but I don't love it. I think I'm not gonna keep it. Now moving on to the lid brushes. I already know I'm definitely keeping all my Colourpop, which is all of these. The pink ones were the ones that they first came out with when they just launched brushes, and then this white one is the most recent. This is what their brushes look like now. I love these so much. I use them all the time. They're perfect for laying down shimmers on the lid, and I can't get enough of these. I honestly feel like I just in general cannot have enough lid brushes like this. They just get used every day. Next is this exact blend brush from Sigma. I don't know why it's over here, but I don't ever use this brush. I feel like it doesn't have a purpose in my eyeshadow routines, so this one's not staying. Next are these really large flat brushes, and this one's from Helen E. These two are MAC 247, and then this one's P. Louise. And honestly, I'm really disappointed in P. Louise. It's just, I don't know if you could see, but it's super thick, and I prefer something flat like this. But I use all of these interchangeably for blending out eyeshadow primer on my lid. And I don't always use these, but sometimes I use my finger, but I do like using these for videos a lot of times. So I'm keeping all 4 of them. Even though the P. Louise isn't perfect, it still does its job. I just don't use it for cut creases. Next are these 2 brushes from Shop Miscellaneous, and these are relatively new to my collection. And I absolutely love these so much. They're really just perfect. They're really thin. They're really flat, and they're really small, so they're just perfect for my small hooded eyes. This one is the E122, and I loved using this one for the lid cutting the crease. And I'm keeping that one, and this is the F16. I actually like using this on my lower lash line, so I don't know why it's in here, but I'm keeping this one, but it's going with the lower lash line brushes. While we're on the topic of cutting the crease, I have the shader, the Sigma Shader Lid E56, and this Morphe brush that came in a set, and I love these for cut creases. Then there's this Sigma Concealer F70. I also talked about this in my Sigma video, and I love this brush for laying down shimmers, keeping that one. Then there's this super old Sonia Kashuk brush. I think this was from like a holiday collection from like 4 or 5 years ago, and I love this brush, and it's the only one that has survived from that set in my collection. So then I have this Unit 202 brush, and this is from a unit set of eye brushes, and I love this set. I want to do a dedicated video on these. Next is this Makeup Geek Full Eyeshadow brush. It's a little stiff and kind of prickly, so I'm gonna get rid of this one. I don't really reach for it anyway. Then I have these 2 MAC brushes, 242, 239. These are so old, and I don't really love the shape of this one. I don't actually remember the last time I really used it. I think this one I'm gonna declutter, but I am keeping this one. This one's really great for laying down eyeshadow on the lid. Next is this Hakuhodo J004G brush, and I love this. Super soft and perfect for laying down shimmers. I use it all the time. Then I have this stained Morphe M167 brush from the Pride collection. I can't remember the name of it. This one's just a little bit too big, and I don't like how thick it is, so I don't really like using it. I've tried incorporating it into my eyeshadow routine, but I just don't think it's my cup of tea, so I'm decluttering that one. Next are these 2 brushes from Morphe and Jeffree Star. This is JS11, JS10. This is from like the special bundle. And I do like both of these, so I'm gonna keep both of these. Next, I have this Rephr brush 02, and this is a recent purchase. This is for like getting the brushes and reviewing them and giving them feedback. And I've been really enjoying this brush. I think it's very soft, and And now we're on to the lower lash line brushes. There's not too many, so this should be quick. I'm just gonna pick out my two favorites I know I'm keeping. These are the two Sigma Pencil E30 brushes. I also spoke about these in my Sigma video, and I love these. I've been using these for years. They're really great for the lower lash line. They just fit in perfectly. Next is this Frillless brush, Pro 3M. You can see it's been rubbed off. This is my favorite brush for the inner corner and under the brow highlight. And this is the only brush I use for that, and I think it's the only brush I need for that. So I'm definitely keeping this one. Next is this Morphe M22 brush. This looks similar to the Sigma brush, but it's much thicker and covers a lot more surface area. This one's just a little too prickly for me, so I'm gonna declutter this one. Then I have this Zoeva smudger brush. And I love this brush. I'm going to keep it. Also really great for the lower lash line. Very controlled application with this brush. Next I have these two Hakuhodo brushes in B551. I think it's rubbed off, and then this one's completely rubbed off. And I love both of these brushes. They're really tiny and nice and flat. I love using the 5511 brush for doing the eyeshadow wing. So this is what I'm using, and I'm pretty sure all of the videos that I do and it kind of look like that. And I'm definitely keeping both of these. Next is this Wet n Wild brush. I don't know what number, but I don't understand this brush. It's really short, but it's rounded and it's flat, and it's just kind of like stabby. I don't know how better to say it, but it's just not comfortable to use. I don't like using this one at all, so I'm gonna get rid of that one. Then I have this Morphe Y21, and I love this one for the lower lash line. Really nice and flat and long, so you cover a lot of area. Definitely keeping. Then I have these two Morphe brushes. One is M431 and the other one is J13. And these are really both also great for the lower lash line. The M431 is very similar to the Sigma E30, so I'm keeping both of these. This is another Morphe brush. This is M326. I've really been using this one for setting my eyeshadow primer right below my eyebrow. It just fits in perfectly, so I'm definitely keeping. Next, I don't know why this is with these brushes, but this is a brush for mascara to just give you more control and distribute the mascara evenly so you don't have any clumping, so I'm definitely keeping this one. But it's going into the other eyeliner slash eyebrow pencil section. Last but not least, I have this Rephr 03 brush. This one I actually almost slightly, can't believe I'm saying this, prefer it to the Sigma Pencil E30. It's just a little bit smaller and more tapered, and it fits beautifully on the inner lower lash line because I have like a crease there, so this just really fits in there perfectly. And now on to the main event. These are the blending brushes, and there's a lot to go through. Right off the bat, I know I'm keeping all of my Goss brushes. You can rip those from my cold dead hands, honestly. Spoiler alert, those are my absolute favorite. If I had to get rid of all my brushes and I could only have brushes from one brand, it would be the Goss brushes. So these are the brushes. I do have one more that's like super large and fluffy that I like using just like to feather out edges and just overall if I happen to be setting my eye primer, but I don't know where it went. But I'm definitely keeping all of these. Next, I know I'm keeping all my Hakuhodo brushes. So that's these four. The shapes of these is just really well thought out, and they're very functional, great for small hooded eyes. These are not going anywhere. Then I have quite a bit of Makeup Shack brushes. These are similar quality to Morphe, but better, I think. They're not quite like Hakuhodo Goss level, but these are just a step up from Morphe, and I feel like they have some really great shapes. And as you can see, I have a lot of these. I actually didn't realize I had so many of these. These are so great and affordable, and I highly recommend. They do have some great smaller shapes and sizes. They do also have some larger ones that I am not the biggest fan of for my hooded eyes, but these are the ones that I love. The T82 is a perfect size for the crease. I actually have two of the T63. I think these are similar shape and size to some of the smaller Hakuhodo and Goss brushes. So I love these for the outer crease, packing on and then blending out. Gives you lots of control. Then this one is the T14, and this one's just a little bit prickly. It's not as soft as the others. I feel like almost when I use this, it's just gonna blend away the shadow because it's so prickly and stiff. So I think I'm gonna declutter this one because I don't really reach for it. I did just spot clean these, so they're not fully washed. So sorry if they look a little bit dirty, but there's a lot of brushes to clean. So then I have these 3 Morphe and Jaclyn Hill brushes, and honestly, these are just, they're okay, but they, after you wash them, they splay just like most Morphe brushes, and they're just not the softest. They're a little bit prickly. I feel the same way as that one Makeup Shack brush that I'm just gonna be blending away the eyeshadow. They're just not as soft, so I don't think I'm gonna keep these. Then I have more of the Morphe Special Pride set brushes. These, again, just like the Jaclyn Hill, they're a little bit prickly. They're not as soft. This one's a little bit stiff too, so I don't think I'm gonna keep these. It's just not worth it. It's just not worth keeping them, you know. I don't really want to reach for them. I only do if like my favorites are really dirty, so it's not worth them taking up space in my collection. Then I have this Dominique Cosmetics crease blur brush, and this honestly just feels like an e.l.f. or a Wet n Wild brush. It's super cheap. I'm pretty sure that it's just like some wholesale brush from China. It's not good at all. It's very flimsy because it's tapered in the bottom and the base here. I don't like it at all. I'm getting rid of it. Next, let me just take out any other Morphe brushes I might have to talk about. So the next I have these Morphe brushes. The M562 brush, it's just so flimsy. I feel like I have no control. I wish it wasn't tapered at the base. I don't really like using this one. Then these two, I like these enough. This one's definitely a little bit too big, but this one's nice and small and great for smaller lids, so I'm keeping that one. I really don't feel like I need to keep a lot of larger brushes, so I think I'm just gonna get rid of this one. Next I have these 2 Bdellium Tools brushes, and I really love these. This one is a great crease brush, pretty small but fluffy. These are very soft. I like both of these and I'm gonna keep them. Then here's some Isom brushes. These were free with like some Viseart palettes that I bought. It was like a special bundle price or something. And I really loved these fluffy brushes. I don't really reach for them as much. I feel like they're not as soft as I remember when I first got them. And this is like a flatter brush. I just don't use these kinds of brushes at all, so I'm gonna get rid of this one, but I will keep these two. Next are these Makeup Geek brushes, Defined Crease Brush. I just don't really like these. They're pretty stiff and I feel like they just move eyeshadow around. I like don't want to go in with these because I'm afraid of what they're gonna do. They're definitely gotten better since I've washed them, but I don't feel like I want to keep these in my collection. Next are these unit brushes from the set I mentioned earlier, and I love all of these and I'm definitely keeping them. Next, let's talk about my Zoeva brushes. I have a pretty decent amount. I love all of these. I'm gonna keep all of these. These are really good quality. They're not quite Wayne Goss and Hakuhodo quality, but I do love the varying shapes that they have. They have very hooded eye friendly shapes, so I'm keeping these. Next, I have some Cosette brushes, and I do like all of these except the S175. It's just too big. These are super soft though, and I really enjoy these. I'm gonna keep these. And while this one, I think I'm gonna keep this one. It might be good to have another large brush to just feather out some edges. Then I have a bunch of Sigma brushes, and these I talked about in my Sigma video, which I will link down below. So I'm not gonna get too much into detail here. So I'm gonna keep all of these, but I do like to call out that I'm not a huge fan of the Firm Blender E44. It's firm, just like it says, and it's a little too large for my taste. I'm actually thinking of using this to blend out eyeshadow primer on my lid because it is synthetic, and synthetic brushes are great for cream products. So I want to keep this and I'm going to use this and see if I like it for that. And if I don't, then I'm just going to declutter it. But for now, it's staying. Next, we have these ABH brushes that come in their palettes. And I know there's some people that just love these. And I really try making these work, but I just feel like this side is so scratchy and it feels so cheap. I haven't really used this side though. I might try to use this side for like applying shimmers on the lid. I think this side feels softer than this side actually, but I used this the other day and I just the whole time was like ow, 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 it's scratching my lid. So I'm gonna keep these for now just to try out this side, but I'm not really a huge fan of dual-ended brushes. We're getting to the end here. I have this Chikuhodo brush GSN10 and it's really soft and fluffy and I do enjoy using this. I'm going to keep it. Then there's this Pat McGrath Labs brush that came with like a set, I think, or something like that. I don't know, I don't really reach for it. It feels soft, so I'm gonna just keep it and see if I reach for it. Then I have this Helen E brush and this is a really nice brush. I think the quality reminds me of the Makeup Geek, so I'm gonna keep this. And then lastly, I have the Rephr 01 brush. This one's also relatively new that I'm trying out and I do really like it. It's really soft. Shape-wise, I wish it was a little fluffier, but I know they have a bunch of other eyeshadow brushes. This is not the only one, so I'm gonna keep this one for sure. So here are the brushes that I decluttered. I definitely think I could have been much more cutthroat with this declutter. I kind of wanna declutter the rest of them as I go and as I use my brush collection, because getting down to the nitty-gritty, it's best to know if you like a brush as you're using it, or as you know, the week passes by and you look at your collection and you see which brushes you have used and which you haven't touched, even though they were there for you to use as like a backup. So I'm probably gonna end up maybe decluttering a few more brushes as the time goes on by the end of this year. I definitely feel like there's a little bit more breathing room in my brush holder, which I like. So yeah, this is my collection now, a little bit narrowed down, thinned out. So that is all for this video. Thank you so much for watching and I hope to see you next time.